I'd like to start out by you telling us a little bit about the Starcke family, its arrival here, and how Starcke as a family got started and continued here in Seguin.
My great grandfather's name was Hugo Starcke.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Discover Seguin on location, sponsored by Bernard Donegan Insurance right here in Seguin. We're very excited today to be at Starcke Furniture and to talk to Mr. and Ms. Starcke about Starcke Furniture, the history of Starcke Furniture, and the history of their location here in Seguin, as well as the things that are going on now and the things they have planned in the future for Starcke Furniture. So welcome, Hil Starcke.
We are so happy that you've chosen to be with us this afternoon. We feel pretty complimented that you would want us to be part of this, but we thank you, Bruce.
You're welcome, and it's pretty exciting for me. I've known Hil for many, many years, both in the insurance business and just here in the community. And Hil and Starcke Furniture have been clients of Bernard Donegan for many, many years. We weren't here back in the early 1900s, so we can verify exactly how far back, but I know it's been a long time, and we've really appreciated our relationship. Hil, the name Starcke here in Seguin has such a historic ring to it for so many different reasons. And I'd like to start out by you telling us a little bit about the Starcke family, its arrival here, and how Starcke as a family got started and continued here in Seguin.
Well, let's see. My great grandfather's name was Hugo Starcke. He was a son of a gentleman named Maximilian Starcke. They came from the Zorn area, right up 123. And Hugo Starcke had a peg leg, and he also had a bar up there at the depot. And I actually was able to buy a token that says good for 5 cents at the bar on one side and Hugo Starcke on the other. Now, Hugo I think he had 4 sons. The eldest one was Max. And a story about Max, the one that I like to tell, 2 stories about Max. He had been mayor of the city of Seguin for about 12 years. And his wife had passed away. His first wife was named Maida Bloomberg. And she passed away. He'd been mayor for 12 years. His 2 children were grown and gone. And they were having trouble trying to find out who should be the first general manager of the LCRA. So they asked Lyndon Johnson. They said, Mr. Johnson, who are we going to get to run the LCRA? We're having a lot of trouble. And he said, you go down there to Seguin and you tell Max Starcke that I said that he should be the first general manager. He's been mayor of Seguin long enough. That's enough. His wife's passed away, so he should move to Austin and do so. And so he did. He packed up and he went to Austin. He married Aunt Evelyn. They had another child. He had a child when he was 60. And there's one of my stories about Max.
And that's the Max Starcke.
That's the Max Starcke of Starcke Park.
Okay.
And because he had been mayor here and was very instrumental in getting one of those government public works programs to pay for the construction of the park in the late 30s. He also,
historians would know that up around Marble Falls, the dam there is called Starcke Dam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they named that dam for him for his work at the LCRA, because that's the Colorado River.
Sure.
So that's Max. And the next son of Hugo was Hilmer. And then my grandfather was Hilmer Starcke, my father Hilmer Starcke Jr., and me Hilmer Starcke III.
Wow.
Now, my middle name is Hugo. A lot of people don't know that, it's HH, but the Hugo Starcke had no middle name. He named, his 4 sons were named Maximilian Hugo, Hilmer Hugo, Walter Hugo, and the 4th son was named Gilbert Augustus. Well, when Gilbert got old enough to realize he was the only one that wasn't named Hugo in his middle name, he had his name changed to Gilbert Hugo. And so on our picture we have of the family, it has both names, Augustus and Hugo. So there's just some Seguin history nobody's too worried about.
No, that's amazing. And the furniture store actually started in 1912. Is that correct?
Actually, yes, there was a Weiskopf Starcke Furniture Company, and let's see, I was asking Christoph about that, whether he had a still camera, because we have a safe from that company,
Right.
and it's hard to read it if you don't know what you're looking for, and it says Weiskopf Starcke Furniture Company. So that had to be between 1910 and 1912, where my grandfather went into business with Mrs. Weiskopf. And then in 1912, he bought the balance of the Weiskopf Starcke Furniture Company, and it was then Starcke Furniture Company. I think that was also in January when that happened. I'm not sure. I don't really recall, but I do know that this building, here we are, it's January the 7th, and this building opened January the 2nd of 1915. So we get, what, 110 years
110?
just the other day.
Yeah.
So now I have babbled and gone on.
Well,
but anyway, that
history's so amazing, and our relationship goes back a ways, but we at the insurance agency celebrated our 100th anniversary in 1911, and you brought down your original truck that used to deliver furniture and had it in our parking lot for our 100th anniversary.
I remember.
Yeah.
That was neat. That was a neat thing to do.
So Little Giant.
Yeah, called a Little Giant. It was a 1907 Chicago pneumatic Little Giant is what it is. My grandfather bought it in 1912.
And it was the
First delivery truck, or first truck used in Guadalupe County. Now they had some automotive things, but it wasn't, a truck.
Yeah, we got some pictures of downtown Seguin where most of it was bicycles and horses back in the early 1900s.
Now, we're talking about, thank goodness. Well, I don't know about thank goodness, but you and I are not 110 years old. But I've been here for 50 years, and I can testify that we've been doing business with your insurance company for the entire 50 years I've been here.
Yeah.
So I know that, and I expect very much so that probably all the way back, because our grandfather being in the business from 1910 and that insurance agency starting in 13, I'd make a little bet that there was some business being.
Well, the Starcke Donegan family, the history a little bit I know, have known each other for all those years.
Yeah.
Kiddos growing up here and everything's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, we've really enjoyed that.
We still have the Little Giant in the warehouse.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
telling the story about how this building came to be.
Oh, well,
This is so interesting.
let's see. This building, okay, in my grandmother's name was Lalla Nolte. Her father was Edgar Nolte. Edgar Nolte and his family, of course, had the Nolte National Bank. It was at that time across the street. It actually started over here, but I think they moved in 1907. And when my grandmother, Lalla Nolte, married my grandfather, Hil Starcke, her father built this building and gave it to her. And that's why another still picture, I think, would be, with the drone or whatever, because the stone up there at the top of the corner, whatever you want to call it, has Ed Nolte written in it. And I think 15 for 1915. So that tag goes back there. Actually, the Donegans bought this bank from my family back, I don't know how long ago. And then Emmett was the chairman of the board and did me the great favor of asking me to be on the board back when. And I'm eternally grateful for that, because I learned so much about an industry that wasn't the furniture industry by being on that board and being part of that.
That's just so amazing that that's the history of downtown Seguin. About half of it right here is between the bank and the furniture store.
The story of the Palace Theater. She tells us that she was an incredible pianist, and she would play at the theater during the silent movies and bring people to the downtown and they'd walk through the furniture store on their way to the silent movie. Let's play. It was incredible. So that's how this part of downtown rejuvenated.
Pretty special. We've visited with newer businesses here in Seguin and really want to acknowledge and make known about them. But it's such a unique situation, as you and I have talked about. Won't be many more years till our ancestors will not be the ones who were tied to all of this. So
That's right. That's
it's
right.
pretty neat to get this on record. But
Yeah.
so you and your brother Frank have been involved in the furniture business since right out of college, 70s time frame?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, me 74, I'm 3 years older, but both of us worked here delivering furniture when we were in high school. And so, you know, in the 60s.
Right.
And my daughters both worked here a little bit, and we did some ads about the fifth generation working here or something like that. I remember when my daughters were here.
Well, your family lived right here close to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right across.
Yeah.
Next door.
Yeah.
Next door, right?
Yeah.
So
So-
this is Starcke.
Yeah, there's quite a tie for quite a long time, longer than you and I know.
That's correct.
That's okay. And you know, you're documenting some of this, which is great, because somebody will come along, you know, 50 years from now and dig that up on YouTube or something. Probably won't be called that, but so look at that. There's old Bruce over there. There's old Hil over there sitting there and talking.
Well, the one thing that Hil and I could probably talk a good bit about is golf, because not only Starcke Park, but Starcke Golf Course has such a historic place in South Texas for many, many years, and people coming here to play golf in the pecan orchard along the river at Starcke Park. And uniquely enough, Seguin has had quite a few good golfers over the last 50, 60 years. So you mentioned a couple, and even recently, Chad Donegan, who's who's a golf pro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you played golf here and then went on to play in college and really have a connection to golf also.
Well, and you know, that pecan bottom down there was owned by the Donegans.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of, you know, let's see. Shelley Mayfield played here at this golf course. And of course, Lefty Stackhouse was pro, many stories there. In fact, we're really getting way off the subject, but I'm going to tell you a story that doesn't have anything to do with anything except that I was 17 years old playing golf at Forest Cove Country Club in Houston. And I was on the golf team there. And like I say, 17, and the drinking age was 21. And we had a practice when one of us would go up and check in, put the names down. And then another of a foursome would go up and thank the pros for our being able to play their course. So someone in our group went up, put their names down. We got through, and it was my turn to go up and thank the pro. So I walked up there, and the pro says, what is your name? And I said, well, my name is Hil Starcke or whatever. I don't know, but that goes. He said, you from Seguin? I said, yes, sir. He said, you need to go over here into the bar and talk to Mr. Burke. I said, sir, I'm 17 years old. I'm a freshman in college. I haven't even been, I've been lectured about it. You know, I can't do that. Well, no, you need to do that. And I said, oh dear, I don't know what to do. So I went in the bar, and there was Mr. Eddie Burke. And his brothers were Jackie and Jimmy at the Champions Golf Club. And Eddie was older than them and had a piece of the Champions Golf Club. He said, you're from Seguin, you know Lefty Stackhouse over there at Starcke Park? I said, I certainly do. And he told me, he said, at one time, Lefty Stackhouse was the best player in the world. I said, what? He said, oh yeah. He said, I really believe that. He said, you know, of course, the alcohol was his downfall, but that he was the best player in the world. Of course, I never forgot that story.
No.
But I don't know whether Lefty really was the best, but it's a true story that Eddie Burke
He was.
told me that story.
That's amazing. Well, we could get sidetracked.
Yeah, we're sad.
I'd like to hear more about the furniture business. I happen to have been a customer yours over the years, and I know a lot of people here in Seguin have been for many, many years. What do you think has kept Starcke Furniture as such an integral part as a furniture retailer here in Seguin, where so many other retailers in small towns have not been able to really survive all these years?
Well, I don't know. I think I really don't have a specific answer to that, and I've thought about it. It's not like, but that I haven't. But it may be that my eyes are a little bit different since I've been here for 50 years. I mean, we just go to work and just try to go to work, and we try to find the best values we can to bring in here, and then sell them with a legitimate advertising. And our industry is full of advertising that's not exactly straightforward, and we don't do that. And of course, repeat business is essential. In your business, it's more essential than it is for ours. But you just got to have that. And today,
free delivery.
well, free delivery uh, as a big part of it. Our clientele is a more conservative and older clientele, no doubt about it. I'm an older person. You and I are older people, and we can relate to our customers a little bit better, and so that really helps. Our This is a conservative looking sofa. All these lazy boys, that they started in 1927. So that's a conservative old brand, and it's just a kind of a go to work every day and do what you can, try to offer the best value, try to buy them. When we get through with this, I'll be over there playing around on the internet, ordering, just filling it in, nothing fancy, okay, there's 2 holes over here. We got to have that. I'm going to order them, and bring them in here and just sell them and keep on every day. I'm
Probably
sorry.
got generations of family members that have been shopping at Starcke Furniture here.
Today, when these ladies walked in this store, I was talking to 2 men. The younger man talked about how he had bought a recliner here, I don't know, so many years ago, and he was very happy with it. So, and he lives in New Braunfels. His father lives in Gonzales. And his father bought a chair here today, and it's the chair we talked about a while ago over here with the swivel.
Right.
We're going to take that to Gonzales the same afternoon. It just so happens we were going to Nixon anyway. And so the very same afternoon, we're going to have that chair in Gonzales, and he won't pay anything extra. We're already going to Nixon.
Sure.
So some of those things, we're just lucky to be where we are.
The other thing is, people say, well, do you have a Memorial Day sale or a Christmas sale or whatever? And he has the saying, he says, we have fair prices every day. We don't mark them up to mark them down.
Yeah.
And people know they come in and it's a fair price. But his management, like during COVID, it was a scary time.
Sure it was.
And I watched him maneuver that whole situation. And when some furniture stores were afraid to buy, they didn't know what the future held, he went ahead and did it. And he had inventory in here. And one of the few places that had what people...
Because they were backed up so far in
Exactly.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
So it is, he won't tell you that, but it is his management skills that also have helped this place survive.
Well, in the insurance business, they have to have renewals. I mean, that's what you do. And I don't know too much about it, and I certainly couldn't survive in it. But I do know well enough that it's hard to get that first policy written, and you take care of them, and then they don't run off. That's all, but you got to do your...
retail, and you've done that. Built relationships with people here in town.
Well,
been involved in this community for so many years. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying.
Well, what new things are on the horizon? You mentioned you may be going to market. You're still looking to change things up or look for new ideas?
Add new lines. We're scheduled to go to Las Vegas this month, and we're looking for a new occasional table line. And we're always finding things there. There's new ideas going on, and I get to play at market by bringing in new things, and he lets me do it.
No, let you do it. We greatly appreciate your doing it.
We're scaling, a little bit here and there in some of our lines, and so we'll have some new things coming in probably February, March, right for springtime. So,
well, how's it been you and Frank, brothers, working together all these years? My son has worked for me for 30 years. Brothers and sisters work together, fathers and sons, and some people don't know how that can work, but you and Frank seem to get along so well.
Well, he likes doing, let's see, what do I call him? I call him like the operations manager. He likes that. He likes doing the delivery. He likes going on the deliveries. I said, well, Frank, get somebody else to help you with this. You're getting old. No, I'm going out here. He likes to, he's on the truck today.
Yeah.
And he likes that. He likes to get the stuff ready to go. He likes to handle all that. And I'm not saying that I don't like doing it, but I'm happy to do these other things, go to the market. I've got this lovely wife here with lots of brain power, and she can help me with something that, okay, I think this looks pretty nice. It looks too old. You still thinking about 20 years ago. She helps like that. But, it's kind of like, I forget what you call it in college. Anyway, where, you've got skills on this one side and you have skills on the other side. Who on earth would want to be the claims person in an insurance company and have to listen to this all day long? I don't think you would.
No.
You'd be able to do it, but that wouldn't make you too happy. You got to find a special person over there because nobody's happy when they call and they've had an accident. I mean, I don't, so somebody got to handle it. So,
Well, it's great the way y'all worked just hand in glove and have done that for so many years. I've
long time.
known about it.
They make a great team.
That's really special.
They do.
It's good.
Well, what else can we talk about Starcke Furniture?
Well, let's see. We talked about the origins of it.
That's right.
We talked about the truck. It's just been really lucky. It was a lucky thing. Sometimes you just get lucky. And we had the truck running, and we were doing some filming for advertising, television advertising.
Yeah.
I said, well, let's take a picture of this truck. Put something on the back of it. And Frank was quite a bit younger man. Put him in there, and he drove the truck along, and we still use that piece of advertising in, I think, maybe every
ad.
television ad that we run. And people come in here. Well, you just need to deliver. You need to be sure to deliver it on that old truck. Well, no, ma'am, we really can't do that. We have to put it on.
Many places left that have the nostalgia and the history of Starcke Furniture. So I think hanging on to that is just a blessing.
And there have been at least 3 people that come to mind right now that worked here for over 50 years that weren't in the family.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great testimony. We just had Roma came in. She was 87 when she left, and she wouldn't have left. She'd be here today if she wouldn't have broken her hip at home, that kind of thing. And that helps too.
True family.
And people, a large percentage actually of our customer is outside.
Thank you.
Seguin.
When we do our little data thing, we're not very fancy around here, but our sales are 50-50 Seguin and outside of Seguin, and not just outside of Seguin, but outside of 78155.
Right.
And I know you write an awful lot of insurance outside of Seguin and 78155. And it's we're talking about this today. We're going to Nixon and Gonzales. Now, the first stop is in Seguin,
right?
And then we're going down there. And that's just a typical day for us.
That's amazing. Yeah, this has become a broader community that Seguin has been looked at as kind of a hub for some of the smaller towns for all kinds of retail and professional services all over the years. We originally came through Seguin from Gonzales when my dad was with GVC back in the 60s. And Gonzales, Seguin, and then over in the Schertz area, we're all just kind of all connected. We were just one big community.
Well, the people from Seguin that founded Seguin from Gonzales. They came up the river, the Gonzales folks did.
So, we've actually had students from TLU come in and interview him, business majors.
Right.
And they want to know what makes this place tick.
Longevity.
How come you're successful? What works? And they kind of pick his brain, and it's all up here.
Yeah.
Well, unscientifically,
Not your personality. You're just the nicest gentleman that anybody would ever.
Okay, they can cut that out. Christoph's already cut that part.
Well, the other thing is, he gives this. There's an ad on the local radio station about avocados, and what it is when you go to the store. I was telling the ladies, when you go to the store, you want to feel that avocado. You want to get your hands on it. You don't want a hard one. You don't want one that's too soft. You want one that's just right, like Goldilocks, right?
Yeah.
Well, people can come in here and they can sit in their recliners. And some people say, I don't like that one, but I want this one. This one fits me just right. And so you go in, it's like kicking the tires. You've got to come in and sit in it and feel. Now, again, just like our ad says, we have more in the warehouse and more in the basement. And some people want it in a box, and that's fine. But if they really are particular, they can come in and sit in it. And some places you have to order it or no, this is just our show model. But you can take the one right there off the floor that you like. And I think that helps too.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell, the men are a little bit more attuned to this. I say, you have to test drive that chair. You have to. Because about once a month, somebody will come through these doors and they're angry. And I'm going, what are they mad about? Well, they're mad because they bought, let's just say, a recliner online without sitting in it, of course. And so now it's not comfortable, and so they're all upset. I got to put it back in the box. And,
Yeah.
When you've got a test drive,
When you sat in that recliner, you go, oh.
I knew exactly it was mine.
Yeah. Now, right now, for example, we have 3 of those chairs. We have this one, which we drug from over here, and we have 2 in the basement. And if you bought that chair today, and without any further discussion, I would deliver that chair.
Right.
And then we go to the basement, bring one and put it right there, because that's the one that Bruce sat in, and that's the one that he liked the avocado. It was just right. And they do feel a little bit different.
No, it's pretty special. That's personalized service that we don't get many places.
We can do that. We're able to do that. So that's a good thing.
Well, we really appreciate the time you've taken to let us be downtown and in person here, visiting with you and hearing the history of the Starcke name and the furniture store. It's just amazing. I'm so glad we were able to.
We're very highly complimented by your just even asking us if you can come by and have a visit today.
Well, before we depart, we'd like to, and we've made this part of what we do each time, is get from you who you might recommend in downtown Seguin that we might talk to, a business that you are familiar with, one that you would recommend, one that some history and understanding of this community would be important to our Discover Seguin viewers.
So for me, that's easy. I think something that has really brought a lot of people to Seguin from all over Texas and enlivens the whole atmosphere down here is the Bird Bee.
Oh, yeah.
It really is a fabulous place. They would be a lovely group to interview.
I think that's a great idea because that's a new thing, right? 111 year, from 1911 insurance company, 1910, 12 furniture store, brand new business that's been very successful. That would be a very interesting perspective.
And they got a following state and even
for that national kind of stuff like that. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. I'm trying to think.
Barbecue.
The Weist family has been here for so long. I don't know that they have a downtown presence. I don't know whether you need to be downtown for this particular thing.
Well, their grocery store used to be just corner from us off of Camp Street for years. But
yeah. And of course,
I was going to say shopping is, we have now Ross and Marshall's,
right.
Which, that it's nice to have something local so you don't have to go to San Antonio or Austin. Right. So we're growing, we're adding new places, and
pretty cool.
It's a nice place to live.
Thank you for joining us at Discover Seguin on location. We appreciate you following us and look forward to future episodes that we can share with you.